Ciao,
Ciao, ciao.
ciao, 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 दोस्तों कैसे हो सब लोग. We are back after a 2 week break and we are live finally. अजय भाई, first things first, obviously आज 2 हफ्ते के ब्रेक के बाद हम वापस आ रहे हैं, but let me first get into it. How are you doing? How's everything going? How is everything
अरे
going? I
एकदम
know you
सब
were on
सब बढ़िया
holiday.
है. I
You
was
were
on
on a
holiday.
holiday.
I was on holiday.
Yes.
I was on holiday. And weirdly, Param, the only football thing that I saw there was a
Hmm.
local guide wearing a
Hmm.
FC Cologne scarf. So शायद कोई
Wow.
जर्मन टूरिस्ट ने दिया रहेगा उसको. But FC Cologne का
Yeah.
ये रहेगा. Otherwise, what a city यार, उदयपुर, fantastic city.
Yeah.
थोड़ा ओमो को याद दिलाया. And I was just telling my wife that we should start a football team from here. It could
Hmm.
be a Como like story. Only if we get
Yeah.
a
I
billion,
mean,
we can
yes, we
start
should
Udaipur.
do that. Powered by Calcio Church, and I have some Italian Rajasthani element to it, and Como-esque
Absolutely.
Udaipur FC or something as rosy as the word Udaipur itself. Maybe you never know, we'll manifest it in the future. But that's good to hear that you had a good holiday. We have Siddhant in the house. Nice to have you. I know he's an Inter East house, and I think if I'm not wrong, उसने Kivu in a Roma jersey का profile
Mm.
photo
By
डाला है
the
शायद
way,
मुझे.
did you
हाँ.
see that when Kivu was with the torch, Olympic torch, there was a
Yeah.
Roma fan who shouted Forza Roma and he said die. So that's good,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, at least I'm happy that Kivu is like one of those fans who respects the teams that he's
Yeah.
played for.
Yeah, definitely. He is that kind of a person. We'll get into all that. Again, we are back after 2 weeks. Obviously, apologies for that because I was so fully caught up with work. I had zero time on my hand, thanks to the men's World Cup. But I have finally taken some holiday, so I'm on like a week's break. So we should have more content coming for you. Ajay bhai will be at Fanball Meet tomorrow. तो अगर आप दिल्ली में
Along
अगर
with
कल आप जा
Chintan,
रहे, हाँ
both
या
of us
अजय
are
भाई
there.
and चिंतन, तो अगर कल आप फैन बॉल मीट पे जा रहे हो जो दिल्ली में है, तो प्लीज डू मीट अस, मीट कैल्चो चर्चा, मीट अजय भाई, मीट चिंतन भाई, मीट दी अदर क्रिएटर्स ऑल्सो ऑन
तू भी
मंडे.
आना चाहिए यार परम, तू भी आना चाहिए.
I had no clue that I would be free enough to take a holiday, so I just applied for a leave and then I was like, "ठीक है, अब too late to book the flight tickets because it's going to be very expensive." But maybe some other day. Monday ko obviously Ajay bhai and Chintan bhai will be on Baba's show, which is Zero Ball Knowledge. So keep an eye out on that as well. That'll drop. Good times over there, and more content will come. I mean, there's a lot planned, and we are back on track. बट लेट्स गेट इनटू इट गाइस. मुझे पता है 6 बजे अपना मैन यूनाइटेड स्पर्स का गेम है, तो ऑब्वियसली उसके लिए सबको उसके पहले भागना है. एक और चीज, विंटर ओलंपिक्स चालू हो गए जो मिलान में है, जो अजय भाई ने ऑब्वियसली अभी एड्रेस किया कि वो ऑल मिलान बेस्ड फेमस सेलिब्रिटीज और पर्सनालिटीज होल्डिंग द टॉर्च एंड व्हाट नॉट. देयर इज एन इंडियन कंटिजेंट बट अ वेरी स्मॉल वन, like 4 5 people
Two,
if I'm not. I think
two
it's only
athletes.
two athletes, and yeah, exactly. Total of 4 5, but two athletes. Not really surprised, but yeah. But let's get into it, Ajay bhai. Obviously, Serie A race. I mean, last 2 हफ्ते से हमने. I mean, we've been talking about it here and there. Obviously, we've not done a live stream, पर बहुत कुछ चल रहा है as usual. Obviously, Inter and Milan kind of going at it. Napoli kind of now 9 points behind. Juve 10 points behind. Roma is there in the top four race, still battling, and obviously lost Udinese was there as well in between. बहुत कुछ चल रहा है. Not just that, European football का भी मैं थोड़ा बात करना चाहता हूँ because obviously in the Champions League all Italian clubs are in the playoffs. Unfortunately, Napoli, Conte, he's out. He finished 30th.
परम,
Roma are in the
तू
top.
तू
हाँ.
सोच तू सोच कॉन्टे के एक्स क्लब्स, यूवे,
Yeah.
अटलांटा, चेल्सी, इंटर और स्पर्स, 5 क्लब कॉन्टे के. Everyone has gone to the next round.
Yeah,
Round
exactly.
of 32 at least, and
Round of
Conte
30.
got knocked out.
Insane. और obviously Roma top 8 पहुंची यूरोपा लीग में. um,
Oh.
Fiorentina have their playoffs, Bologna in the playoffs as well. So है, मतलब it's not like Italian teams are out, but obviously आप सोच के, I mean ये अच्छा season नहीं है in that sense कि actually let's tackle this only before we get into the
Yeah,
weekend
yeah, yeah,
prediction.
yeah, yeah.
Let's tackle this. Let me pull things up. But Ajay bhai, I want to get your thoughts because this, like, look, Italian teams are alive, but it's not like in the greatest fashion. I think Chintan Bhai was on Game On FC to talk about this. Please do go watch that episode. He did a live stream and he was on Game On FC as well, in person in the recorded shoot. So वो भी आप देख लो rivalry room का. But आपके क्या thoughts है? Because Inter was actually in the top 8 for like 15 minutes. I don't know if you noticed that. So like when we were leading Dortmund and when Napoli was beating Chelsea, or at least tying Chelsea, not beating Chelsea, Inter was in the top eight. Like Inter was eight for like 15 minutes, and then obviously जब Chelsea ने lead ले ली, हम फिर भी जीत रहे थे, but then we slipped down, and then Sporting also won their game in the end, which
Yeah.
got them into the top eight and put us down further. पर क्या बोलते हो अजय भाई? Not in that sense, it's not been the greatest of seasons, वैसे Europe.
I think it's been very very disappointing, Param, because Inter were, I would say, favorites to qualify for the top eight. आप लोग के साथ वो लिवरपूल गेम हुआ, non-existent penalty. That, but nevertheless, I feel that Inter really didn't play well in that game. Should have not lost the game for sure, but didn't play well either. That was a bit disappointing at home. Even against Arsenal, I saw Inter had patches where they were good, but somehow Arsenal just finding that extra gear to come away with a win. So that these two results combined with Atletico, वो जो तुम लोग का एक मतलब हर साल का एटलेटिको का एक ये पक्का रहता तुम लोग का, वो ये 3 लॉसेस है इंटर का जो यूसीएल कैंपेन ने डीरेल किया. बट आज भी मैं यही बोलता हूँ कि अगर कोई भी टीम हो, मतलब स्टार्ट ऑफ द सीजन इवन टिल नाउ, जो शायद सबसे ज्यादा पहुंच सकते हैं, मतलब लैटर स्टेज में पहुंच सकते हैं, वो है इंटर. अटलांटा अगेन वेरी डिसअपॉइंटिंग परम, बिकॉज their league form was kind of different. In the Champions League they were good, and then they had a freakish loss at home to Athletic Club, which was like it. I didn't see that coming, honestly. Athletic Club were so bad in Europe, and Atlanta were flying. They'd just beaten Chelsea, and then they lost at home to Sporting. So Atlanta ke saath mein, and Atlanta I think will face either Bayern or Arsenal if they go
Yeah, I
through.
will
So
come to no Atalanta. Acha, in the latter, yeah, correct. In the latter
yeah,
stages, correct,
yeah,
correct,
yeah.
correct.
If they beat Dortmund, so
Yeah,
Atlanta
which,
face Dortmund. If they beat Dortmund, it's Bayern or Arsenal. So it's tough
yeah,
times ahead. And
tough
then
times.
of course, with UA recovered. Spalletti coming in, new manager bounce, they recovered, and they were kind of struggling in the beginning, Param, under Tudor, and then they just managed to scrape through. I would say eventually to the top 24, but has to be the most disappointing. मतलब मैं क्या बोलूं यार, ये कॉन्टे, ये आदमी को हम लोग बार बार बोलते जाते हैं, पर हम पता नहीं तूने उसको कैसे, उनको कैसा टॉप 4 चैंपियंस लीग में प्रेडिक्ट किया. आई डोंट नो what went wrong with you. I knew that if I had to pick one team to get knocked out, it was Napoli more than any other club, because that's what Conte does year in year out, and then he will come with ridiculous excuses. Every team has to play 3 games a week. They spent a ton of money. They got whoever Conte wanted to, and this is embarrassing. But I'm like, if I were De Laurentiis, I would sack him right now, because
Yeah.
हम लोग लीग में भी 9 पॉइंट पीछे है. Maybe if they get a new
To
manager, शायद bounce मिले.
to add some context, again, this is no disrespect. ये कोई disrespect नहीं कोई दूसरे clubs को, but see who has finished above them. Pafos, Union Saint Gillois, as you said, an athletic club that is having like a mediocre season. Bodo Glimt, I'm not surprised they're a good side, but Karabakh also were underrated in the Champions League. But again, just again see some of the teams that have finished above them, and just if you really think about it, अगर आप नापोली के points देखो, 8 points, that is same as Kopenhagen, not that far off from Ajax. Again, Ajax not really great themselves. So basically, Napoli ने क्या किया? They finished in that half of the table where the teams were really average or bad, honestly,
But
overall
Param,
speaking.
Param not as Scudetto holders, yeah, not as Italian
Yeah, exactly my
champions.
point. Exactly, you can't do that, right? I mean, it's shocking. And then obviously, I'll pull up the fixtures. क्या आ रहा है? What's coming your way? But this is the final table. Italian teams, जैसे मैंने बोला, टॉप 8 में है ही नहीं. आपके आर्सेनल, बायर, इंग्लिश टीम्स डोमिनेट द टॉप 8. आर्सेनल, बायर, लिवरपूल, टॉटनहम, बारसा, चेल्सी, स्पोर्टिंग एंड मैन सिटी. इंटर, जैसे मैंने बोला, 15 मिनट के लिए हम लोग थे टॉप 8 में. आई वाज ट्रैकिंग इट वेरी क्लोजली. तभी हमने जब डॉटमंड के अगेंस्ट लीड ली, ब्यूटीफुल डीमार्को फ्री किक गोल बाय द वे, एंड वी डिजर्व टू विन दैट गेम. Diouf also scored that, so happy to see scored in that game. And
Let me pull this trivia for you. Who was the last Italian to score a direct free kick before Di Marco?
अरे ये
The
मुझे
Champions
पता है.
League, in the Champions
आई
League.
नो. अरे मेरे को पता ही है. अरे I know this, but it's like not. I know what whom you're talking about. Visually,
और
मेरे
chat
दिमाग.
chat पे भी ये सवाल पूछता हूँ मैं, अगेन रिपीट कर रहा हूँ. Who was the last
अरे I know
Italian
this.
to score a direct free kick in the Champions League
Not
before
Dosena.
Di Marcos? Before Di
Dosena?
Marco.
No, no. Not Dosena. Why am I going all the way back to Dosena? You tell me
चलो,
because I have.
ये मैंने चैट को भी ओपन रखा है, अगर चैट में कोई मेरे को सही आंसर दिख जाएगा तो मैं बता देता हूँ, बट वी कैन गो।
I know this, but like it's not just registering right now. Tell me, कौन है?
अरे चैट में तो आ रहे थे, चैट
चैट
में
में
भी
कोई,
कोई तो
चैट
बाद में।
में लोग देखो गूगल करके डालने वाले हैं, बहुत ऑब्वियस है, आपने उनको उतना फ्रीडम दिया है। यू माइट एज वेल गिव मी द आंसर।
फाइन, इट वाज द ईयर 2016, फ्रांचेस्को टॉटी अगेंस्ट सेस्का मॉस्को।
Oh, oh yeah, Siska Moscow game. Correct, correct, correct,
Yeah,
correct.
that actually was the goal that gave him the record for the
Yeah, I
oldest goal
remember the
scorer in the
Siska
champion.
Moscow game. Yeah, it was him. It was him. Correct, correct, correct. देख मैंने बोला ना, इज इट टॉटी सेज मिहिर, ये गूगल करके सब लोग आ जाते हैं भाई, ये मैं
नहीं,
बोल
नहीं,
रहा हूँ।
I don't think so. Mir googled, I think.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, अरे आपको आप इतना फ्रीडम दे रहे हो, कर सकते हैं, बट नो वरीज, इवन इफ ही डिडंट देन दैट्स अ गुड गेस. But yeah, look, this is where the table stands currently. Juve 13. Juve had a terrible game against Monaco as well, by the way. I mean, I read about it later. मैंने थोड़े highlights देखे. They didn't do well, and not this Monaco team. ये Monaco team इतनी खास नहीं है, with all due respect. Again, I always said we are better than Dortmund. Again, solely speaking about this season, or this is the kind of again you can debate, is Dortmund like, again they're a big club, yes, but do they have that big team form which Inter has been struggling to play against? That is debatable, but at least we beat them in Germany, which doesn't happen often. I mean, again, Italian clubs
No,
don't have a
it's a good win. It's a very good win.
yeah,
Going away
yeah,
to the Signal Iduna Park and winning is a
yeah,
fantastic
yeah,
state.
yeah, नहीं नहीं, मच नीडेड. ऑब्वियसली हमने नापोली की बात की, यूए की, नापोली की बात कर ली, 30 है तो एम्बैरेसिंग, आई एम सॉरी. आप लोग भी आपके थॉट्स दो. आई वांट टू नो इन द कमेंट्स फ्रॉम यू गाइस. ओके, मीर यू डिडंट गूगल, दैट इज फेयर, बट आई वांट टू नो फ्रॉम यू गाइस. आप ये जो करंट पोजीशंस देख रहे हो राइट टेबल पे, इंटर 10th, यूए 13th, एटालांटा 15th एंड नापोली 30th. What positions did you expect these clubs to finish in before the UCL campaign began? I want it in order. Like, I want you guys to type it. Like, if you finished Inter, to expect to finish like second or third. That's like Inter second, Atalanta, whatever, seventh, something like that. So I want to see you guys say, because I want to know what people actually thought before the UCL campaign actually kicked off. But Ajay bhai, let's look at the knockouts. Who faces whom and what is potentially in store for them. And before Ajay bhai ask you and get your opinion, मेरा इसमें मेरे को यही फॉर्मेट का एक ही चीज पसंद नहीं है कि आपको पहले से ही पता रहता है आपका बात क्या है. That whole point of the draw is this unpredictability, right? That is what I always preferred. अभी
Yeah.
आपको पता है आप इसको हराओगे तो नेक्स्ट राउंड में इसको या इसको खेलोगे. That's quite obvious and it kind of takes away that unpredictability and thrill. But क्या ही बोल सकते हैं. I mean, I really hope they introduce draws. But again, it's इस फॉर्मेट के साथ आप draws को ला नहीं सकता जब, because the whole point of finishing in top 8 is to get some sort of advantage, right? So they will never do that. So yeah, unfortunate. But let's look at the draws for Italian clubs specifically. Atalanta, as discussed, हमने बात की Dortmund को खेलेंगे, so Dortmund will be playing another black and blue team. And if Atalanta manage to beat Dortmund, they'll play Arsenal or Bayern, as you said. And other than that, we have Juve who play Galatasaray, so Osimhen will be up against an
Icardi and
Italian team.
Osimhen.
Icardi and Osimhen, and there was news that Juve tried for Icardi towards the end, and वो भी एक है. और funnily enough, Osimhen again, Juve also did try for him at a point after his Napoli spell. Obviously, it was a very unrealistic thing, you can say, पर वो भी था. But again, Gala और Juve का winner will play one of the two English clubs, which is Liverpool or Tottenham. Obviously, थोड़े साल पहले का UCL final. And Ajay bhai, again, you again are familiar with this. We play Bodo Glimt first away and then at home. And anything you want to say about this?
That away leg, Param, is so crucial, so
Yeah.
crucial, because you guys will be playing Bodo Glimt in that February wala season.
Yep. Yep.
But I think that the way that Inter play will suit, rather Bodo play will suit Inter. I think because Bodo are a team who only play in one way. They don't have any plan B. तो तुम लोग के लिए अच्छा ही है, because स्पेशली अगर सिमोने इंजागी तुम्हारा मैनेजर रहता तो मैं तो आंख बंद करके बोलता इंटर आगे जाएगी, बिकॉज बोडो विल अटैक एंड दे विल लीव स्पेसेस जहाँ पे इंटर विल काउंटर. एंड आई सी द लाइक्स ऑफ बॉनी और इवन मार्कस टुराम. आई नो कि थोड़ा क्रिटिसिज्म है उसके फॉर्म को लेके, बट ये जो एक्सप्लोसिवनेस है काउंटर का जो इंटर ने लास्ट सीजन बायर्न के अगेंस्ट दिखाया था, आई कैन सी दैट काइंड ऑफ पैटर्न इमर्जिंग, बिकॉज बोडो प्ले ओनली इन वन वे. ऑल्दो दैट अवे ट्रिप इन नॉर्वे विल बी ट्रिकी, बट आई थिंक एट होम I mean, even we thrashed them 4-0 at home. Yeah. I mean, that's at home. It's a different story only. I mean, who loses to Bodo Glimt at home apart from a certain Lazio?
नाइस वन नाइस वन नहीं यार मैं तो डेफिनेटली बोलता हूँ द बोडो ग्लिम्ट गेम विल नेवर बी इजी एंड अगेन ऑनेस्टली वी वर गोइंग टू ड्रॉ इधर बेंफिका और बोडो ग्लिम्ट और मुझे अगर आप तभी भी पूछते ड्रॉ में और मैं आज भी बोलूंगा बोडो ग्लिम्ट इज द टफर टीम टू प्ले विद ऑल डू विद I don't, with all due respect to Jose Mourinho, actually. I was about to say with no due respect because of his recent comments, but it's okay. But again, honestly, Benfica ये नहीं बोलना चाह रहा कि easier होता, but अगर आप देखते हो जब I'm sure you also watched this version of Benfica and you watched this version of Bodo Glimt, I can safely say Bodo Glimt actually are a better team. So this
100%.
is a tougher draw. This is a tougher draw in that sense. Again, यूए के लिए 11 भी आसान नहीं होगी and I do think UA will go through Ajay, but then again you have to face one of the English clubs, and again Liverpool, Tottenham, either way, despite their struggles, will not be easy यार. मतलब वो भी हुआ अगर उधर से भी आगे गए तो then you have Barca, Chelsea, PSG और Monaco waiting. Again they've already played Monaco, but it looks like PSG will or Barca or Chelsea will go through here. Atalanta, it's tough अजय भाई मतलब क्या ही बोल सकते हैं. You have I do think they can beat Dortmund, but then it's literally the top two teams in the world. You can argue, na Ajay, like Arsenal or
Yeah,
Bayern. Arsenal, you can argue best team in the world right now. That is what
yeah,
we also
yeah,
faced, and then
yeah,
Bayern. So or you have one of Real Madrid, Benfica, Sporting, Man City waiting. So tough, yeah,
yeah.
tough. Ajay, मैं आप पे आता हूँ. I want to discuss Roma quickly the Europa League with you, guys. I'll come to your comments. Just hang in. हम लोग आज obviously थोड़ा छोटा stream कर रहे हैं because we have the Premier League game at 6. So don't want to drag it too much. But Ajay bhai, yeah, आपके लिए Europa League table. I just want to quickly address what so Siddhant says he expected Inter to finish 8th because of experience. Juve, Atalanta, Napoli, he expected to finish below top 8, which is fair. You got that right. And Inter top 8 says Mihir. Drunk Grandpa says Inter 4th, Atalanta 15th, Juve 10th, and Napoli 6th is what he expected.
Napoli
Uh,
6.
Siddhant is also shocked with the Napoli 6th prediction. Kabir, again, Bodo Glimt is not easy. Yaar. Like personally saying, I don't think it'll be tricky. Again, I agree with Ajay. I think we'll go through, but again, you have to see the squad status when the match comes around. Like who's available, who's not, and that away game, like it's going to be tough. Even at home, honestly, they have some good players. Ajay, you remember Jens Peter Hogg, right? Former AC Milan. He's playing well. He's playing well. Not just him. I'll come to that later. But again, I think it's a tricky path. Then let's see. But again, you never know, right? In the UCL, it goes anyhow. Um, Drunk Grandpa says I was trying to be optimistic with the signings. Are you a Napoli fan? Interesting. Ajay bhai, this is for you. The Europa League. Lyon topped it. I mean, just 2 cents I want to give Ajay bhai. एक moment पे just a few years ago they were about to get relegated with all the chaos, and now topping the Europa League. Yeah, insane comeback. Aston Villa second, Michelin, Real Betis, Porto, Braga, Freiburg, and you finished 8th, Ajay bhai. Thoughts on your Europa League campaign? Borderline 8th, but still much needed because you don't have to play those playoffs. Good,
Two
decent
extra
amount of
games.
money. Yeah, decent amount
Yeah,
of money.
very, very seesaw group stage because you can recall the 3 missed penalties in that game. Very freakish
Oh
game.
yes, yes.
जो लील के अगेंस्ट था
Uh,
सरप्राइज defeats also, but then beating Michelin, beating both the Scottish teams,
hmm.
Rangers and Celtic away, आराम से Celtic and Rangers को brush aside किया. Gasperini actually rotated the team. He said that the league is the priority, and then ended up losing to Udinese, which is extremely extremely weird. But yeah, I mean, I think the goal always was Param to finish in the top 8. The goal
Hmm.
always was to avoid those 2 extra games and to move on to the next round. And as much as Gasperini comes and says to the media that Europa League is not a priority, I think he's playing mind games that
Yeah, obviously.
typical Italian managers, So more than anything else, Param, I really want us to take this competition seriously. I think at any given day, if Roma are at the top of their game, I think we should be good enough to beat any of the 7 teams before us or some of the teams that are below us. I think मेरे हिसाब से तो अगर आप देखोगे यूरोपा लीग में you have Villa, you have Lyon, you have Betis, you have
Hmm.
Porto, who are, I would say, like right up there
Yeah,
to be able
Parioli
to.
ball.
Yeah. Farioli is doing well. So are Real Betis and Leon
Yeah.
under Fonseca. are doing very well, and Unai Emery though is a serial winner of this competition. तो ये सारे चार पांच टीम है, but Param, if you want to prove that you're good enough, you should be
Yeah,
able to beat these
yeah,
teams.
yeah.
And I'm expecting a deep run, hopefully ending in silverware. That
No,
is
it
the expectation that I have, and I hope that Roma can fulfill the expectation.
I think doable hai. If I see again, I'll come back to that point. I want to just highlight Bologna as well because Bologna we just were not that far off from finishing top eight. They finished 10th. थोड़ा weird था because they drew a lot of games and वो last में ये जो 2026 था Bologna का अगर आप देखो Bologna's 2026 has not been great. They've won like
It's
one
always
game across all competitions, which is where they beat. Sorry, two games actually. Obviously, they beat Maccabi and they beat Hellas, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, they beat Hellas. But again, other than that, the 2026 has been awful. And obviously, जब आप ऐसे खेलते हो, that Celtic game was horrible. They should have. You can't be
yes.
drawing to this version of Celtic. Like they were down to 10 men, then they scored two. Matlab, I watched this game, Ajay, man. They were horrible. Like they were bad. Like they were really bad. Like I don't suddenly that Italiano basically you can see the drop off, that physical drop off, and obviously you sold a player like Giovanni Fabian to your arch rivals who are battling relegation, Fiorentina. I mean, very
They
confusing. Yeah,
also got rid of Ciro Immobile.
yeah, he's also gone. This guy's gone. Sorry, your Emil Home is gone to UA. Then you get Joao Mario in exchange. Very weird. I mean, again, it could work out, but so Bologna is not having the greatest of times. So they'll be definitely playing playoffs. Let me just quickly pull up what's in store in the knockout rounds in the Europa League, just very quickly, because obviously you guys have avoided the playoffs. Yeah, so we have this here. Knockouts way we have PAOK versus Celta, and that one of those will play Lyon or Aston Villa. But Roma or Freiburg will play Dinamo Zagreb or Genk. And yeah, or you could have an all Italian potential clash if you do beat Freiburg, or sorry, I mean if Bologna do beat Bran. So there is either Roma Bologna, there's Roma Bran, or there's Roma versus Genk and Dinamo Zagreb. Ajay bhai. Still, I feel as you said, ये थोड़ा doable है either way. Like again, Dinamo Zagreb are a good side, and again Bologna, you know them, you're familiar with them, but Genk and Bran are doable. So honestly, अगर आप आपका path देखो अजय भाई, I know you are in. If you win all these games, if Roma do win all these games, you either face Lyon or Aston Villa, one of the two, which is, I mean, I'm pretty sure you would hope for this clash थोड़ा बाद में, but again, it's not like it's not doable, अजय भाई. It's
No, it's
doable.
not. And in fact, I think it is doable over two legs rather than a one-off leg,
Yeah,
especially
exactly,
against the
exactly.
likes of Aston Villa. I think
Yeah,
over two
exactly.
legs, it's far more. Yeah.
Yeah. So Roma, you we have to see. बोलोनिया का मैं एक ही चीज बोलूंगा, अगेन सिंपल चीज इस टाई के बारे में है मेरे लिए कि ये अगर बोलोनिया शो अप करेगी, I don't know about it. I think it'll be tough. Like I don't know because this Bologna again, as someone who's watched them so far in 2026, they've been awful. बहुत बहुत खराब खेले, बहुत
Pretty
बहुत ही
awful.
ज्यादा.
Pretty.
Sorry.
They've been awful. एकदम बेकार खेल रही है.
Yeah, and this fixture does come at the back of like this away trip to Torino, home to Udinese. Then it's not easy. The fixture list is also not kind on them. So let's see.
ये जो दो एक्स्ट्रा गेम है ना, ये इसका सबसे बड़ा फायदा लेने वाला है एसी मिलान.
Yeah, of course. I mean, let's see if Conte also does it now. But obviously, AC Milan are I feel better position. Just quickly, Conference League की भी table देखूं मैं तो obviously Strasbourg topped it. You had AK Athens, Rayo had a good campaign there. Shakhtar, Crystal Palace finishing 10th. I mean, they love that number. Just like I mean, they're like the Torino of England, I guess you can say that. But Fiorentina again, are we surprised? Two-time finalists, but sitting 15th, and they're going to play the playoffs. Ajay bhai, we are used to seeing them in direct qualification that way, but obviously जैसे उनका season जा रहा है, it's not surprising they are going to play Jagiellonia. And honestly बोलूं तो मेरे को again Fiorentina में confidence नहीं है. मेरे को
By
लग
the
रहा
way,
है
Param, I want to give a shout out to one of the clubs over here. अगर तू नीचे जाएगा तो one of my very good friends from Cyprus. It's her birthday today. I should probably wish her. Her club is Omonia FC from Cyprus.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Does she live there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, that club will always be close to my heart. Like any Cypriot club, not Paphos, not Limassol, it's always going to be Omonia.
Fair. I mean, yeah. See, look, Fiorentina have again a tough path. अगर आप जीतते हो, तो भी you end up facing Strasbourg. So that is, I mean, Strasbourg or it's a tough path in general. मतलब I don't know. Again, I think Fiorentina playoffs में ही बाहर हो जाएगी. Rakov again, Strasbourg or Rakov. I think Fiorentina are going out in this very round against Jagiellonia. So yeah, let's see. I mean, I know they've tried to make signings or they've made a few signings to turn things around, but मेरे हिसाब से इतने से जल्दी कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. So that's our European kind of lookout. So basically, अगर आप if you go by what we think, it looks like you Italians are not going to fare that well in Europe. Let me see what some people are saying in the comments. Ajay bhai, Kabir is he says Liverpool will make a deep run and might win the whole thing. बोल्ड कबीर बोल्ड अगर आप ये कोई लिवरपूल फैन को बोलोगे तो वो इतना ऑप्टिमिस्टिक नहीं होगा बट देखते
No,
हैं
but
अगेन
I can see where Kabir is coming from
या
because Liverpool have always been a good European team, and
या एग्जैक्टली दैट्स
no,
व्हाट
even I can
दैट्स
see this happening. Even I can totally see this happening.
yeah I mean that's what again they have had that
Chelsea,
moment.
Chelsea as well. Chelsea as well. Like they're such a good cup team, no?
They do. I mean, yeah, Chelsea you can say as well. To be fair, yeah, that's another one shout out over there. Roma potentially facing arguably the best UEL team. No, not Napoli fan. Just thought good signings is equal to some end product without Napoli. पर वही होता है grandpa, good signings don't always mean good in product, right? We always think from the outside, right? Like good signings, which means it'll always work out, but doesn't always work that way. Many examples over the years. Roma's thoughts on Roma's chances of qualifying for next season for the UCL. My prediction is that it won't happen unless Napoli collapse. Do you agree with this, Ajay?
I do
Briefly.
agree because my early season prediction was Roma finishing fifth. So there are two ways that Roma make it, or three ways that Roma make it to the Champions League. One is obviously if Italy get an extra spot due to the coefficients.
which is tough.
Two, which is tough. Two is if Roma manage to win the Europa League, and lastly is the Napoli collapse. So I think if these three things happen, one of the three things happen, then Roma make it to the UCL. Otherwise, it looks very difficult. But I don't mind it, Parab, because this is again people forget year one or year zero of Gasperini. So it takes time. I mean, एक जो criticism हमारे Serie A clubs को मिलता है, where we don't have continuity at all, like especially at the top. तो वो एक चीज मैं अभी देखना चाहता हूँ. I want Gasperini to be here for the next 3 years at least. So Roma definitely need to give him time. So wherever we finish, I think even if we finish fifth at this point of time, I would still take it because I'm seeing signs of progress. I'm seeing Gasperini ball is slowly coming into effect, and in the long run, I think that is what the club wants: that stability and that vision.
फेयर अगेन अगर आप नए हो, अगर आप पहली बार देख रहे हो चैनल को, या फिर अगर आप जस्ट जो भी हो, अगर अब तक इसको लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया, प्लीज डू लाइक द स्ट्रीम, प्लीज डू कीप कमेंटिंग एंड प्लीज डू शेयर. Again, we are the main flagship show of Italian football in India, and again, please do subscribe to Ajay Bhai's channel as well. We'll keep the show rolling. एक चीज मैं लास्ट पूछना चाहता हूँ before we move on from this topic. Ajay Bhai, you answer this as a panelist. I'll also answer, but I want people to answer this in the comments, right? I want you to, I simply want you guys to predict how far each team will go in their respective European competition. For example, Inter, let's say you feel quarterfinals, round of 16 जो भी है, then UA so and so, और ये रोमा के लिए भी करो, बोलोनिया, फ्योरेंटीना, सबके लिए. So I want like a proper UCL, UEL, and the Conference League. I want you guys to predict in the comments where do you think, how far do you think each team will go. Ajay bhai, over to you. What do you think?
Can we start with Napoli getting dumped at a group stage? Yeah, too funny. So I think Inter can go to the semis. Atlanta, I think, will get knocked out against Dortmund. I just feel that will happen, and I feel that UA will probably beat Galatasaray but get knocked out to Liverpool, because I think UA will draw Liverpool and Liverpool will go ahead. ऐसा मुझे लग रहा है. बचा Roma I still feel hopefully semi-finals at least. That is what I would expect. And Bologna quarters. Fiorentina I think can go till the quarters or semis, but I don't see any Italian team winning any silverware this year.
Fiorentina
also quarters or semis tops.
Fair. I think so. I think Inter, if you go past Bodo Glimt, you have to see then. But I feel like the round past Bodo Glimt or quarterfinals at best. That is the max I have for Italian clubs. I think UA.
Not very optimistic. No, not very optimistic.
नहीं,
All of us.
I'll take it one, I'll take it one game at a time यार. मतलब again हम लोग again मैं यही बार बार बोलूंगा, it is a bit of a transitional season for us. Again, then Ajay bhai, you know there is a Scudetto to battle for. Then there is a Coppa Italia. Wait, I mean, 3 matches in the left in the Coppa Italia. So let's see how we manage this. And we have injuries. ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं है, right? So एक चीज again बोलूंगा, we'll come to this all this later. But I'm just glad the way
मेरे
Kivu
को
is managing.
मेरे को इतनी इतनी खुशी हो रही है कमेंट्स में देख के कि एवरीवन इज प्रेडिक्टिंग रोमा टू विन एंड कम टू द फाइनल. आई
Yeah.
एम सो हैप्पी गाइस. अगर अगर ये होगा तो पार्टी मेरे तरफ से सच में. आ जाओ मुंबई, अपन पार्टी करेंगे.
Hmm. नहीं नहीं, I mean, if any one Italian, see, look, obviously I'm not going to sit and celebrate if UA were, if UA somehow win the UCL. Obviously I can't do that, but if Roma do win, then I'll definitely join you in the party, and Kabir or anyone in Mumbai is free to join. Ajay bhai will throw like a proper party in a club.
Yeah, because last time when we won the Conference League, I was running with the Roma scarf, and
Yeah.
especially at the ceiling, I'd put the
Hmm.
scarf outside and बहुत मजा कर रहा था. It was good fun.
Yeah. It would have been funny if one of the like those hawks or something came and took away your scarf. It would have signified Lazio, like
As long as as long as it's not an eagle, नहीं यार.
That's right.
Lazio तो
नहीं, हॉक भी, I mean, ईगल तो नहीं होने वाला. हॉक भी होता तो भी we would have taken it. But all that aside, again, just I'm not like मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ कि I'm not like negative about Inter. I just want to wait and see. I think Kivu is doing fine for it. He's doing a good job actually for his first season. I think, as I said, we'll beat Bodo Glimt, but उसके बाद the 48 season, let's see there. UA, I agree. I think they'll beat Galatasaray because Galatasaray in the big moments they always choke. Let's see what UA turns up, because that day, the other day against Atalanta in the Coppa Italia, Atalanta outclassed them. I watched the game. Atalanta were fantastic. So, but yeah, against one of the English clubs, Ajay bhai, I'll give UA a chance against Spurs.
but Liverpool तो
But no,
भाई I don't
Liverpool is tough. Liverpool is tough, yeah, Ajay bhai. Liverpool, जैसे आपने बोला, European days पे अच्छा, like they came and they beat us as well at the end of the day, and that really gave them confidence. They beat again. Look, Real Madrid have their own issues, whatnot, but still. Then you come to Atalanta. I think Atalanta will. I think they'll beat
मेरे को तो
Dortmund,
लगा
but
मेरे
I
को तो
think they'll
लगा
beat.
डॉर्टमंड ही निकाल देगा. मेरे को I feel because
Fair,
Dortmund generally
fair.
pick up form at this point. Like when it comes to knockouts, they're very good.
Yeah, I think they'll beat Dortmund and then get knocked out, and then Europa League में I think Roma's semis final दोनों chances. I'll still थोड़ा go reserved only because मेरे को Italians का ये season पसंद नहीं आया यूरोप में. So
Yeah,
semis,
yeah.
Bologna, I think I'm going bold. I think Brand knocks them out.
Woo. What are you
Conference League,
saying?
yeah, I think Conference League, Jagiellonia knock out Fiorentina as well.
क्या बात कर रहे हैं?
Yeah, I'll go bold. I'll probably be wrong. I'm not doing it for the sake of it. I'm just watching these two teams and watching a bit of the other teams that play them, their direct opponents. I don't get confidence. Again, I could be wrong, which is fine. But
ये
yeah,
सही है. ये कबीर ने सही बोला. Parab is closely following the Norwegian league.
देखता तो हूँ. So Kabir, again, मैंने वही बोला था. The funny part of us drawing Bodo Glimt is I used to do a lot of scouting courses, and one of the very first teams I was asked to scout in that course was Bodo Glimt when Ajay bhai, they'd just been promoted back to the Norwegian league, and they did a Leicester. They did their own Leicester. They won the league in the very first season. So I was
Yeah,
scouting them.
yeah.
So I know most of these players because most of them are the same from those many years and a few new fresh faces. So it's tough. It's tough here, Kabir. It's not easy. Like it's tricky basically. We are the favorites, but it's tricky. Ajay bhai, let's move into Italian football. Let me just take Italian football Serie A action. Let me just take a couple of comments. We
भाई
have deep.
Serie A action है ना कल शुरू हुआ with the most haram ball games. My God, मतलब if there was an advert for Calcio in a negative way, वो कल का गेम था. पर अब मतलब अगर किसी को इटालियन फुटबॉल से दूर भगाना है, कल वो मैच हुआ था. अच्छा हुआ किसी को पता नहीं चला. हम लोग बात करें वो अलग बात है, बट Pisa versus Hellas Verona, my God, please relegate these two teams out of Serie A.
Pisa still, they do try. Like Hellas, by the way, we missed that too. So that clash yesterday was the two clubs that sacked their coaches. Gilardino bhi sack ho gaya. Paolo Zanetti also got sacked. So new faces in there. Roma winner says Shravan. Strasbourg versus Fiorentina final. Fiorentina, I don't think. Yeah, Roma win. Lot of people saying Inter winners or runners. अब बाप रे भाई इतना optimism होता मेरे को तेरे जैसे भाई इफ दिस कम्स टू ना श्रवण, जो गिव अवे हम लोग करेंगे ना उसमें हम लोग कुछ रैंडम नहीं करेंगे, तेरे को ही दे देंगे जर्सी सीधा, ठीक है? इंटर
परम
क्वार्टर
देगा,
फाइनल,
परम देगा, हम नहीं, परम देगा पर्सनली।
इंटर क्वार्टर फाइनल, यूए क्वार्टर फाइनल, एटालांटा प्लेऑफ्स, इंटर क्वार्टर फाइनल, रोमा वर्सेस एस्टन विला फाइनल. बट आई डोंट थिंक दैट्स पॉसिबल ना दीपू, रोमा
दैट्स नॉट
एस्टन विला.
पॉसिबल, आई थिंक
दैट्स नॉट
सेमीज, तो
पॉसिबल.
सेमीज में क्लैश होगा।
Exactly. Atalanta out to be Dortmund and Juventus quarterfinal. Kabir says Inter and Atalanta quarterfinal rest round of 16. Uh, Liverpool monitoring Roma legend Zeki Celik. Good morning, Param. Inter champions. ये तो इसका रोज का है. My intuition says that UAE will have a deep run. Look, bhai, as an Interista, you should not be hoping for all this, but you guys have watched Leon. If you can tell about him something, simply, how do I say this? Hurry, wait, sorry, what is that, Ajay bhai? Can you see that?
हर यश नागड़ा।
Haryash, I guess Haryash is your name. Sorry if we got that wrong. But simply, Dek, Leone, I know as a Liverpool fan, you have not gotten to watch him, but he's talented. Uh, Before you guys signed him, Inter really badly wanted Leone. Inter was in the lead, and then you guys came in and did your thing. बहुत old, अच्छा भाई, old school, purely old school नहीं, but he has that old school traits in him where he's like simply in your face kind of center back. He's not a ball playing center back in the first place. Hey, decent technical ability, but he's not a ball playing center back. He's very no nonsense, old school, in your face kind of center back. But again, very 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 calm, very composed, and a lot of room to grow. But and Ajay, I think it's a shame to see him get injured so badly because बहुत अच्छा talent है वो, and he did have a good season here at Parma, and that is why Kivu wanted him. That is why Kivu wanted him. उसने ही उसको कोच किया था. पक्का होगा रोमा फाइनल. आई मीन फॉर अ पार्टी वी विल फाइनली गेट टू मीट द एआई बॉट नोन एज परम. मिलते हैं कभी यार. लाइक वी आर येट टू हैव अ इंटर क्लब इंडिया मीटअप. सो this I will address something. I'm starting this for later. I'll address this later. Kovac parking the bus against Dortmund. Yeah, Ajay bhai, let's get into the Serie A action. एक तो कल रात आपने जो बोला ना, कल का जो गेम हुआ, ठीक है, 12 बजे, वो ठीक है, जो था वो था. Why is there no game until 10:30 in the night? Like what is this fixture? Who's making these?
कौन ये शेड्यूल कर? और सबसे पहली बात परम, ये मिलान आर नॉट प्लेइंग दिस वीक बिकॉज ऑफ द विंटर ओलंपिक्स सैन सीरो में. यही बात चल रहा था कि इनको ऑस्ट्रेलिया में खेलना है, ये फिक्सचर ऑस्ट्रेलिया में खेलना है. बट मेरे भाई वो तो कैंसिल हुआ, तो ब्रिंग इट बैक. नो, आई मीन व्हाट?
Yeah, you can just exactly. This is the worst. It's so weird. देखो ना, मतलब कल रात को 1 बजे मैच हुआ, 10:30 को जेनोआ नापोली. फिर
वो हेलास वेरोना पिज्जा ओपन करे, पर मेरे को कुछ देखना है उसमें. I just want to see the haram ball XG dominance.
Pisa did have a lot of shots, to be fair. Hellas Verona was putting on like a proper defensive display. But अगर आप देखो Hellas Verona,
big chances created, zero shots on target, zero.
Pisa to be fair were trying. Pisa, like, to be fair were trying. एक तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा, like they had
relegate Hellas Verona right now. I don't want to fucking see them.
No, look at this. This is the funniest part. Like, I'm sure this has happened in the past, but look at this. Hellas had more of the ball, 0 shots on target, like not even 0.10 xg. And look at this. Pisa barely had the ball, mostly played on the break, but look at the number of shots Pisa had. Look at the chances created. ये पूरा reverse game था भाई. मतलब I watched this actually. I watched it. It was a tough watch, but again, as someone,
तुझे क्या नींद नहीं आ रही थी क्या? तो सोने के लिए तूने ये
मैं सोता नहीं हूँ. No, I did watch this. To be fair, I was really hoping Pisa won this, but unfortunately, वही है, Pisa fashion में नहीं जीत पाए. And yeah, this again. अगर मैं neutral को दिखाता तो this was a tough watch. But yeah, we are. अच्छा भाई, like look at this scheduling. Just 2 seconds again. 10:30 तक you have to wait for Genoa Napoli. Then all of a sudden, okay, from tomorrow it's all back to back. Fiorentina, Torino, Bologna, Parma 5 बजे, Lecce Udinese 7:30, 10:30 को Sassuolo, Inter. फिर आपका पूरा फिक्सचर्स का भगा रहे हो लोग. यूए नापोली, Atalanta Cremonese on a Monday. Then Roma Cagliari on a Tuesday. And I do agree. Like,
Roma play on Monday night, and
yeah, I mean Tuesday for us, right? I mean Tuesday for India. And I agree. I mean, why is the Milan fixture not there? Like, I mean, हो गया cancel, तो तुम्हें सिर्फ डालना है उसको. तुम्हें ऐसा नहीं कि ground available नहीं है. मतलब grounds, I know technically it was a home game, but you could have rescheduled an away game there, because anyways both the Milan clubs until the Winter Olympics
Yeah,
is over are not going to play. I mean, the opening ceremony
correct,
just got over, so that was the
correct.
only thing. So both the clubs are not playing there. So you could have had Milan playing as well. Honestly, I didn't understand the logic behind this. Is very poor scheduling. Well, let's do what we do always. अजय भाई Hellas Napoli हो गया, but अपन predictions पे आते हैं. As I'll come to your comments, guys. As always, simple चीज आपको करनी है. जैसे हम predictions देंगे, आप लोग भी comments में predictions दोगे टीम नेम के साथ. Genoa so, Napoli so and so. ठीक है. So Ajay, I'll start with you. Genoa Napoli. This is not really a straightforward game. Form देखे तो Genoa did give Lazio a tough time, and they did beat Bologna. They've been having a decent run. Honestly, for 5 games, so they've obviously done better than Napoli. Napoli with injuries, no Anguissa, no Gilmore, no David De Bruyne, sorry, no David Neres, no Vania, no Politano. Giovanni is there, Lukaku is there. Seagerst is out for Bologna, Baldanzi is out for Genoa, Baldanzi is out for Genoa. क्या लगता है? Because Marassi is never an easy place to visit. It is never. It is never an easy place to visit.
Genoa 3, Napoli 2.
So ending Napoli Scudetto dreams for good year, I guess, Ajay bhai. But अगर एक चीज बोलूं, Napoli do weirdly have a decent record at the Marassi. It is somehow amongst the other big teams. But coming back to the point, I think draw hoga, Ajay bhai. I think Genoa are a tough team to play, and they have that decent form against. Again, I mean, in general, they did sign Justin Bailo. By the way, they did need a goalkeeper. Norton Kafi का exit आपको अगर आपने देखा, he was linked with move to us last day's paper. Thank God it didn't happen. Vitinha
वरना
is
एक
playing.
comment आ जाता, which academy is he from करके आ जाता.
Yeah. No, the funny thing is, you know what? I'll tell you the story behind that news. So the whole saga was, we were trying to sign a right wing back, and as always, we were all talk, and we ended up signing no one. But Liverpool showed interest in Dumfries in the last days of the market. So there was a talk between Liverpool and Inter for Dumfries, because Inter inquired about Curtis Jones as well. And Liverpool asked कि Dumfries को कितना time लगेगा recover होने को, because obviously this guy is injured अपना Frimpong, right? So they were exploring, and Inter actually were ready to accept a move, because anyways वो जब तक वापस आएगा तब तक आधा आपका और सीजन चला जाएगा, and then he's going to mostly leave in the summer anyways.
Yeah.
So the point is, Brook Norton Cuffy was not like the alternative to the failed Perisic signing. He was an alternative to replace Dumfries, which is, I was like, how can you, if you're selling Dumfries, okay, if you considered that, how can you immediately think of Norton Cuffy as the replacement? It's just
Yeah.
insane to me.
Insane,
It's just
insane.
insane. Yeah, that's typical American owners, Ajay bhai. क्या ही बोल सकते. But yeah, I think this will be a draw. I think this will be a draw. I want to see what people say. Kabir says 0-0 or 1-1. I agree with you, Kabir. Siddhant says 1-0 Napoli. Deepu says 2-1 to Napoli. Norton Cuffy to score. Kabir says love the 3-2 prediction from Ajay Bhai. Shisho, I can't read that because I'm an Interista, but good to see that you're a UA fan and in the house as well. I want to see more predictions, guys. बाकी लोग भी कर सकते हैं. Let's move on. Fiorentina Torino, अजय भाई, ये तो प्रॉपर मतलब दोनों स्ट्रगल एफसी है. Both facing their demons. Look at this.
It's a relegation 6-pointer, I feel.
Yeah. Both facing their demons. I mean, both Torino. तो मेरे पास I have no words left only. They gave us a tough fight in the Coppa Italia, but again with a rotated team, we played youth and we still beat them. It's been that 6-0 game. Did you watch against Como, by the way? That 6-0 loss.
I did. Oh my God. I mean, मतलब ऐसा लग रहा है कि Como would score out of every attack they would score.
Yeah. Absolutely. And look, on aggregate, they lost 11-0 to Como over 2 games.
Yeah.
Pagliari was awful. Everybody, like, I watched this game as well, and Como were just absolutely destroying them. क्या बोलते? Because this is like, I don't know, like these are two terribly out of form teams. क्या लगता है Fiorentina कुछ ले पाएगा इधर आपको?
मेरे को लगा होम में जीतेगी Fiorentina. Maybe like a 1-0 or a 2-1. I think Fiorentina will win at home.
Yeah, I agree. I think Fiorentina will win. I agree with Kabir. He says Fiorentina win comfortably. Haryash will tell you the streams to watch. You join our WhatsApp community. Siddhant says 2-2 draw. L for UA says Devraj, if I've read your name correctly. We'll see Bologna versus Parma is next, Ajay bhai. ये तो भाई out of form Bologna versus typical Cuesta ball. क्या बोलते हो? Parma did get smashed by UA though. Like, yeah, they did. They, and even against Atalanta, they have been awful as well off late in the last 2 games. क्या बोल रहे? Both out of form.
even Bologna have been
Exactly,
out of it.
exactly. What do you
I
think?
think ये draw हो जाएगा. I think it'll be a draw. I feel
Fair,
it may
fair,
be like a 1-1.
fair. I think Bologna will win finally. I think Bologna को अपना वो much needed win मिलेगा, and maybe that'll help them get back on track. Uh, देवराज says I hope Red Bull take over Torino. Those were links of the past यार.
अब
वो
नहीं
हो
है
गया
वो.
उसको, अब नहीं है. एंड ऑल्सो लाइक दैट वाज कायरो ऑल्सो सेड वो बेचेगा नहीं, तो डोंट बी सरप्राइज. बोलोनिया 2-0 पार्मा says दीपू. बोलोनिया 3-0 says देवराज. सिद्धांत says 2-1. Bologna Parma got destroyed by Inter, Juve and Atalanta says Devraj. All teams have beaten this Parma says Devraj. We need to see. Oh my god, Lecce Udinese. I can only say with certainty Udinese will win.
मेरे को
क्या
लगा
बोलते
उधर
हैं?
से हरा देगा यार. हरा देगा उधर से लेचे को यार. लेचे अगेन ऑफ ऑल द टीम्स दैट आर इन दैट रेलिगेशन बैटल. परम तूने मेंशन किया कि दो टीम ने अपना मैनेजर सैक किया है जो बॉटम हाफ में है. एक ही टीम बचा है जो बॉटम में है बट अभी तक मैनेजर को सैक नहीं किया है. शायद शायद अभी सैक करे. ये एक अगर लॉस मिलेगा तो उनको. तो आई डोंट सी लेचे स्टेइंग अप यार. मेरे को नहीं लग रहा है कि लेचे सेरिया में रहेगी इस साल. आई थिंक उधर ऐसे काफी जो तू हमेशा से बोलते आ रहा है कि कोस्टा यूनियाइच इज अ गुड कोच, वो दिख रहा है बिकॉज सॉलिड टीम है उधर से. अनफॉर्चुनेटली कीनन डेविस इंजर्ड हुआ अगेंस्ट रोमा. ही
Yeah.
सफर्ड हैमस्ट्रिंग अ मसल इंजरी. अनफॉर्चुनेट बिकॉज ही वाज लीडिंग द लाइन वेरी वेल फॉर देम. बट आर्थर आटा यार, व्हाट अ प्लेयर. मतलब
Yeah,
आई
good
वुड
player.
से ही विल मेक द नेक्स्ट बिग मूव फ्रॉम उधर.
हमारा
प्रॉबेबली.
अच्छे ब्रांड का आटा खाए इज एन अभिजेत जोक आई वुड क्रैक राइट नाउ.
बिल्कुल 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 यार. मतलब ये प्रॉपर खपली आटा है. डेफिनेटली ही विल गेट a lot of suitors, but very impressed in the way that Udinese set up actually. काफी एक robust उनका center of the park है. उनके midfielders काफी कड़क खेलते हैं, काफी things को tight रखते हैं. तो at even if they're away at Lecce, I think Udinese win this.
And look, I agree with you. Look, they're above Bologna. I know Bologna are the one who's messed up, but now they still find themselves above Bologna suddenly. So fair play, fair play. Let me see what people are saying. Udinese to win 2-1 says Devraj. Deepu says Zaniolo to score and Udinese win 1-0. Siddhant also 1-0 Udinese. लेचे का स्टेडियम अपग्रेड होगा और लेचे सेरिया बी में हो गया. एटलीस्ट स्टेडियम अपग्रेड हो रहा है भाई. वही बड़ी बात है, वही बड़ी बात है. बेल्टोला सोले, यस, बेल्टोला इज अ गुड प्लेयर. सासुओलो इंटर. अजय भाई, मैं आपसे स्टार्ट करूंगा एंड कमेंट्स में बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली आई विल गिव माय 2 सेंट्स. Obviously no Hakan, no Dumfries, no Barella. And Sassuolo again, look, they've been in good form. They beat Pisa, they've beaten the Cremonese, but again Ajay bhai, this Sassuolo is like your Sassuolo that doesn't beat the big teams but beats the mid-table and smaller clubs essentially. It's a
Yeah.
reverse, is the reverse of what we are used to seeing them do. And
Yeah.
form wise देखे तो जैसे नापोली से हारी, रोमा से हारी, again 3 big teams in a row they lost. Inter beat Torino in the Coppa Italia, Cremonese, Dortmund, Pisa 6-2, lost to Arsenal. क्या बोल रहे हो, क्या लग रहा है आपको इस गेम के बारे में?
I think Sassuolo will score, but I think Inter will win 3-1 away from home. I just feel that वही है कि the way that Grosso sets his team up, it's a bit disappointing because I want to see Sassuolo grind out some results. वो दिख नहीं रहा है मेरे को where they can grind out those wins against like bigger opposition. I just feel that although they have like Matic has been in good form,
Yeah.
Bhai is destined for bigger things. They have individually they have the capacity, but somewhere I feel that they've disappointed. Against Napoli, I did watch the Napoli Sassuolo game. I felt that for
Yeah.
lots of periods of time in that game, Sassuolo were in with a chance, but again they didn't capitalize. And then जब Napoli ने मतलब they just opened up Sassuolo very easily. तो वो एक जो रगिड स्पिरिट है जो पुराने सासोलो टीम्स में था, वो मेरे हिसाब से थोड़ा सा मिसिंग है. Berardi loves scoring against like top opposition, so I'll not be surprised if he ends up on the score sheet again. But I think Inter should comfortably win this eventually 3-1 in my books.
Fair. मेरे 2 cents इसमें ये कि yes, I know हमारे बहुत absentees है. Barella is not available, Hakan is not available, so is Dumfries. Barella is celebrating his 29th birthday. Years go by very fast अजय भाई. जब थोड़े साल पहले he was what देखा तो he was a young talent and now he's already 29. So yeah, I mean time flies by. Happy birthday to him. But या आई मीन सी आई फील हम अच्छे फॉर्म में है. कोपा इटालिया में जब टोरिनो के अगेंस्ट हम खेले हमने आई लाइक द रोटेशंस ही मेक. ही प्लेड मटेओ कॉकी फ्रॉम द प्रीमावेरा, गुड लेफ्ट बैक अपकमिंग. He played Isiaka Kamate, a right wing, not naturally a right wing back. He played him as a right wing back. He got an assist for Bonni. He played a lot of youth, so the players I feel are a bit rested, which is good to see. बाकी yes, this is the expected 11 as of now. जहाँ आपका Zelenski, Miki, Sucic है. PO I don't think is expected to start. Let's see. But yeah, I think look, this is a Sassuolo. ये वो typical Sassuolo नहीं जो एकदम they do play their usual brand of game, right? जो हम जानते हैं free flowing, थोड़ा attack oriented. But this is a Sassuolo that also plays a bit of a more controlled game. Like Matic really stands out that way, that in that sense in most of their games if you really watch. And again, they try to be more rock solid. So I think tough होगा. Look, Berardi has a knack to score against Inter. I mean, उसको पसंद है. He's a known Interista as well, so he just loves scoring against Inter for whatever reason. शायद वो मार दे. I do agree with you. I think Sassuolo will score. I think we'll win though. I think we'll win 2-1 or 3-1, something like that. But I think we'll win. I hope I'm right because obviously imperative game अजय भाई, especially आप जानते हो अगर मिलान ये वीकेंड नहीं खेल रही है so you it then in the coming games you have Milan play with that game in hand, right? And then until then Inter have to keep winning. So this will be tough. We have to win. I think we will, but it won't be easy. Let me see what people say in the comments. Deepu says Sassuolo to 1 Berardi. Sidan says to 1 Inter. I heard that we'll have our scouts to scout Muharebovic. It's I mean वो तो चलता रहेगा. It's not a final time. वो अजय भाई I think you agree, scouting तो it's like an evergreen process. वो चलते ही रहता है चाहे आप स्टेडियम में हो चाहे आप ऑफिस में बैठ के स्काउटिंग करते रहो. लाजियो का टेक ओवर न्यूज आर वेरी इट्स नॉट कॉन्क्रीट देवराज. लाइक Lotito, Ajay bhai, you want to address this because you know Lotito is not going to sell that.
Lakshmi Chit Fund will take over Lazio.
Lakshmi Chit Fund. That would be interesting ऐसा ही कुछ हो जाए तो. लिंक देख न्यूज तो आते रहता है भाई. न्यूज तो बहुत देख तू सोर्स तो मैं न्यूज तो मैंने भी देखा है. All depends यार. टेक ओवर इज नॉट सच एन इजी प्रोसेस एंड Lotito will never sell so easily.
This is a
नहीं
good
नहीं.
point, Param. This is a good point.
Which
Kivu
one?
better than Inzaghi team selection and rotation.
I'll come to that in 1 second. Just keep it highlighted. Lotito player बेचना has nothing to do with a takeover. See, that's not how finances work, Devraj. वो player बेच रहा है because they are anyways like Castellanos was expected to leave. All these guys were anyways expected to leave. Mandas and all. वो लोग को they are not a rich club. They are anyways selling to kind of sign players. तो signings भी देखेगा तो बहुत mediocre है for the most part. So it has nothing to do with the sale of the club. He openly said कि वो कहीं जा नहीं रहा है. He openly, if you saw that news, Ajay, you remember that conversation we showed now on the phone where he argued with the fan, Lazio fan. If you remember, we showed it 2 weeks ago. And he said, I have pumped in tons of money and I'm not going anywhere. So, मेरे को तो नहीं लग रहा वो कहीं जा रहा.
जाना भी नहीं चाहिए यार. वो जाना भी नहीं चाहिए. वही भला वहां पे बैठा रहे. मजा आ रहा है. लाजियो का I think when Lazio played Genoa, there were 800 fans who came out. Maybe, I mean, I'm exaggerating.
Like वो तो अलग ही सीन था. Boycott था and it was a very terrible display by their fans also. Like they didn't turn up. Look, to answer this question, Inter and Arsenal fan, better is a very tough thing to say because Kivu ने एक season भी पूरा नहीं किया. What I will say rather is, I'm happy to see him actually rotate more than Inzaghi. Like देख मैं simply बोलता हूँ कि Kivu was Inter's coach from the under 14 level. He under 14 level. He's coached under 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 sub. So he knows these kids. He knows the whole bunch essentially, Ajay bhai. And that's why he trusts them. He knows he has to use the youth. Under 23 setup इसीलिए start किया है. He wanted to sign a new player in the Jan market which he didn't get. So क्या कर सकते हैं? Management ने फिर से fumble किया जो भी था वो. So let me rely on the youth. अगर सिमोने इंजागी एक चीज मैं बोलता हूं, अगर सिमोने इंजागी अभी भी इंटर का कोच होता ना, जब पीओ एस्पोजिटो वुड बी एट इंटर, दैट ही वुड हैव बीन लोन्ड आउट. सिंपल एज दैट.
That's a good point.
I am confident of this. I am definitely. So yes, in terms of trusting youth, rotating, I think he understands how to do it and he understands the need for it. Better or not, long term चीज है. मैं अभी से उसमें नहीं घुसूंगा. But I get where your question is coming from. Next game we have what do we have next? Wait, hold on. UL Lazio, correct. UL Lazio, the big one. Ajay bhai, obviously आपके लिए थोड़ा dilemma है because you need UA to lose in this top 4 race because they're right above you and you don't like Lazio obviously for obvious reasons. क्या बोलते हो इधर क्या होगा अगर मैं फॉर्म भी पुल अप करूं?
Even if I put my biases aside, Param, I don't see Lazio doing anything in this game. I think यूवे इन द लीग, आई थिंक वो जो कोपा इटालिया अगेंस्ट अटलांटा था वो एक वन ऑफ था, बट आई थिंक यूवे विल गेट बैक टू विनिंग वेज इन सेरिया यार. आई डोंट सी लाजियो पुटिंग अप अ फाइट.
Yeah, I think UA will win. I think देखो, I know UA got destroyed by Atalanta recently, but generally अगर आप UA का देखो, generally they are slowly getting into that form. Like they learn from their defeats. थोड़े थोड़े defeats से वो लोग सीख लेते हैं. They try to do fix things right away, and that is typical Spalletti. They have made a few signings as well. Emil Holm आ गया है. Like, look, Emil Holm, is he the greatest player? No, but like a temporary fix. Is he an upgrade on Joao Mario? Joao Mario was not even being used, Ajay bhai. So good signing there, I guess. Can plays a right back, right centre back. Jeremy Aboga, all right solution. And there, I mean, obviously they missed out on their other targets, so isliye Jeremy Boga laya, but still not a bad player to have, all right player to have. Uh, Again, I feel UA, yeah, UA will win against Lazio. I just can't see how this version of Lazio can beat UA. Again, I think Miretti is playing very well. Keep an eye out on him. McKennie, for Christ's sake, McKennie is being linked with Inter Ajay. Like, please, no. Like, please. Yeah, I hope he goes elsewhere. He goes to the MLS.
I would sign him for him. I really like McKennie. I don't mind him.
Fair, fair. You can have him. I am not a fan of the player. Like, I'm really not a fan. Lazio have Luca Pellegrini suspended. And again, Lazio ka agar aap dekho, they just scraped past Genoa. They've not been great. Like, again, same old story. New signings also will take time to adapt. Again, you can question why did you sign someone like a Peter Radkov to replace Castellanos. Daniel Maldini is not your kid anymore, I guess. Ajay bhai, he signed for Lazio, so that
Who?
is
Who?
there. I mean,
Who?
Danny, yeah. So let's see, but I'm not a fan of this Lazio. I think UA will win. I want to see in the comments what people are saying. UA 2-0 Lazio says Kumar Abhishek. Siddharth says 2-1 UA. I want to see more predictions. यूए में कोमोली ने 250 मिलियन बर्बाद कर दिया, अब उसे वापस 200 मिलियन 50 रीबिल्ड करने के लिए. सासुलो ऑफ सेरिया, सासुलो इज संडरलैंड ऑफ सेरिया. Yeah, some interesting comments. I think yeah, many of us are predicting a UA win. Let me see the next game. Which one was it? Where is
Atlanta
it?
Cremonese.
Oh, interesting. मेरे को ना अभी ये क्रेमोनिस का फॉर्म देख के थोड़ा बुरा लगा, बिकॉज
उन लोग नोज डाइव कर रहे हैं, पर उन लोग जा रहे नीचे एकदम.
Patrick Kendrick or somebody said this in some stream, or either Patrick Kendrick it was, rather. He said that he fears, or somebody said this, he fears that they might end up doing what Frosinone did under Di Francesco that season, if you remember when they got relegated.
या
टॉप
या
4 में बैठे थे और एंड में relegate हो गए. And I'm worried. It's a legit concern because अगर आप देखो, Cremonese have not won in ages. Like, it's been a long time. Van de Poot is out. Warren Bondo is out. Sanabria is out. They signed Milan Juric. Fair enough. Okay. Relegation battle specialist striker. But Atalanta अच्छे form में आ. Honest Arnor, by the way, we'll come to him. They just beat UA. They held Como. I mean, Como could have won that game, to be fair. But yeah, I think Atalanta will win. क्या बोलते हो?
अटलांटा विंस दिस easily 3-0 win.
Yeah, I hope Cremonese get something, only because I want Cremonese to get back in form, and in a way एक Lombardy derby है because दोनों Lombardy के clubs है, but it's not like a fierce rivalry, but it's a geographical more of a thing. But I agree. I think Atalanta win.
It
People
is
also
like
say
Thane versus Panvel.
Thane Warriors versus Panvel Pathans or something. I don't know. Atalanta 3-0 Cremonese. Kumar Abhishek says Atalanta 4. देवराज इस प्रेडिक्शन के बाद, हाँ, आप क्वेश्चन डालो, ले लेंगे, उसमें कोई ये नहीं है. सिद्धांत से 2-0 Atalanta, Phantom से 2-0 Atalanta as well. Last Roma play Cagliari in this match day. आ जाए, क्या बोलते हो? Because
Tough game, yeah. Tough game.
tough.
Tough
Pisa
game.
Canis Cagliari, they just smashed Hellas Verona, by the way, जो मजा आ गया देख के. बहुत मजा आया. I especially love the game against Fiorentina, by the way. I don't know again if you saw the first goal they
I did.
scored. Zé Pedro
I
did
did.
a sombrero Palestra के लिए, and then Palestra. They've been playing well here. I really think Cagliari kind of deserve like a top 10 finish or at least 10th place. I really hope they get it. क्या बोलते हो अजय भाई, पर क्या लग रहा है इस गेम के बारे में आपको?
Tough game होने वाला है, पर I think we'll draw this game. I don't see us winning this game, unfortunately. मेरे को लग रहा है कि Cagliari, although they're a little more difficult at home, but they're not bad travelers. And अभी उनके टीम में काफी, they're going through a very positive phase right now. They're very, very confident. They're very, like you said, very expressive. जो सोब्रेरो था, जो Palestra in general, Palestra has been playing like a man who's possessed. बहुत ही बढ़िया खेल रहा है वो. Overall, पिसकाने ने कैलियरी को काफी एक मतलब एक सॉलिड
Yeah,
तरीके से सेटअप करके
yeah,
रखा हुआ है, तो उनको उनको ब्रेक डाउन करना भी डिफिकल्ट है. एंड रोमा विल प्रॉब्ली रिलाई ऑन set pieces or a penalty of, to kind of break this team, because Cagliari will come in with full confidence. And reverse fixture maybe Param Zeki Celik got a red card in the 58th minute, and Roma were playing with 10 men for I think half an hour, and they scored a late goal. Cagliari. So मैं तो optimistic नहीं हूँ परम. I think I'll go for a 1-1 win over here. 1-1 draw over here. Sorry.
not at all. Fair. अगर आप absentees भी देखो तो Felici is out, Folorunso is out, Belotti तो obviously बहुत time से injured है, Dobbik नहीं है, Ferguson नहीं है, Dybala भी नहीं है, Robinho has been injured हो गया है, read about it. Yeah, that is there. So yeah, it will be tricky. I agree with you. देखो, look, I know you guys have the home advantage, and it's never easy to win at the Olympico for 1 month. Most of the mid-table to bottom-table teams. But again, यार, this Cagliari team, as Pizza का इनका जो कोच है, अगर आप नहीं जानते हो, obviously इनका ये फॉर्मर प्लेयर था जो हम थोड़े साल पहले इसको खेलते हुए देखते थे लीग में, and he's now coaching them, and he's basically a Cagliari legend. And he spoke of how he approaches these young players, these Gen Z players, how he kind of tries to understand the character. एक बहुत interesting dialogue उसने बोला था. And I really feel he has the makings of a good coach for the future if he continues this. Players to keep an eye out, keep an eye out. Kilic so यार, ये मस्त talent है. जब लीग में साइन भी किया था, I had said this, they call him like the Turkish Aguero. Like I know these days ये सब बोलना बहुत आसान होता है, but उसके प्रोफाइल जो है ना, जैसे वो खेलता है, it will actually remind you of like Aguero's movement. Semi Kilitsoy, he's in good form. Juan Rodriguez, Shivam is a big fan. He's also playing well. Uruguayans and Cagliari, that connection is there, Ajay bhai, like Sardinia and Cagliari. That's always there. Godin, obviously, Enzo Francescoli, a lot of Uruguayan connection there. So yeah, I feel draw. I also agree with you. मुझे लग रहा है draw होगा. मुझे लग रहा है Cagliari will put up a fight. I want to see what comments say. Roma 2 Cagliari. Siddharth says 1-0 Roma. 1-0 Cagliari win, says KNK. अजय भाई, एक बात बताओ, रोमा पे समर ट्रांसफर बैन होने वाला है क्या ब्रो? प्लीज गाइड मी. डू यू वांट टू आंसर दिस अजय भाई?
नहीं, आई डोंट थिंक सो.
बैन नहीं, देख, बेसिकली उनका सिचुएशन
FFP का है.
हाँ, FFP का है. सो 30th जून के पहले दे विल हैव टू मोस्टली रेज 30 मिलियन, and that is why Manu Kone will always be linked with a move, because उसके लिए लोग आएंगे, and if you can sell him, then unfortunately that's the reality, right, as for Romani's team. But guys, थोड़े just comments लेता हूँ, and then we'll close this. I know again 20 minutes, just over 24 minutes we have a Premier League game. मिलान को समर में 65-90 मिलियन आने वाले हैं लोन ऑब्लिगेशन पूरे होने से. उसके बाद गोरेट्स्का और व्लाहोविच विल जॉइन मिलान. अगर मिलान वो 90 मिलियन से ही स्पेंड करे तो डोमिनेट कर सकते हैं. देख, अगेन देवराज, मैं बोलता हूँ, फाइनेंसेस ना, दे डोंट रियली वर्क लाइक दिस. अगेन आई अंडरस्टैंड, आई लाइक योर एंथुसियाज्म एज अ फैन, बट लेट मी एक्सप्लेन. वो 65-90 मिलियन जो आएंगे, इट्स नॉट लाइक एवरीथिंग गोज टू ट्रांसफर्स, राइट अजय भाई? सिंपल. आई अंडरस्टैंड, यूजुअली वी एज फैंस टेंड टू सी इट लाइक दैट, व्हिच इज फेयर, बट वो ऐसे नहीं होता. एक फर्स्ट थिंग्स, as somebody who watches Goretzka regularly, there is nothing to be happy about. He's one of the worst players out there. He's horrible. Like, he's genuinely horrible. Again, let me tell you a story about Goretzka. You remember the previous Euros, right, Ajay? When obviously when Nagelsmann had just come in to become the Germany coach, he decided to drop Goretzka, and obviously justifiably, because he's been terrible. He was terrible then. He's terrible now. Goretzka ran a PR campaign off the pitch with the help of journalists and fans, and his buddies, basically the fans being his buddies, to get into the Germany squad, because he knew talent. But kudos to Nagelsmann, he didn't buckle under pressure. He has journalist friends. So this is Goretzka. So if you want this kind of a player, I would just say be careful. He's very average. Bayern fans ko tum pucho, they'll rip their hair out every time they watch him. A good friend of the channel, Pratyush, who started his own Bundesliga channel, please do subscribe. I'll maybe link it down. He's a Bayern fan, and he just cannot stand Goretzka. And if you know again, just go watch him play. Vlahovic is very. Ajay, you think? I want to ask you this, because Vlahovic is very, very polarizing player, right? He's the most. He earns the most, twice as much as a Lautaro Martinez or any of the strikers that play better than him. He does pretty much nothing, with all due respect. Barely does anything. Do you think a move will actually benefit wherever he goes? Do you think a move will actually benefit him? Do you think we'll see those Fiorentina ka one season where he did well?
I think it will, because I think Vlahovic does have a lot of quality, but वही है कि we've not been able to see the best of him for whatever reason, n number
Hmm.
of reasons है जिसके कारण Blaho has not been performing. But I still believe talent तो है, and अगर वो move करेगा तो शायद he might be unlocked under the likes of say an Allegri who likes a certain type of a striker. But even if he joins any other club, I think it will do well. एंड टिपिकली अगर आप देखते हो तो स्ट्राइकर्स को कॉन्फिडेंस चाहिए, एक दो बार दे नीड द बॉल टू फाइंड द बैक ऑफ द नेट, एंड देन इन दैट कॉन्फिडेंस दे स्टार्ट स्कोरिंग. तो व्लाहो को आई थिंक इन द समर इट्स अ नो ब्रेनर. ही हैज टू टेक, if he has to stay in Serie A, he'll take a salary cut. If he stays in Serie A, well and good. But I can also see him going to the Premier League because Lorenzo Luca यहाँ पे स्ट्रगल कर रहा था, अब जाके उसने कल रात को गोल मारा. It's a good league for strikers to go and find their feet, in my opinion.
Hmm. फेयर फेयर फेयर. बाय द वे यू सेड लोरेंजो, मैं एक चीज एड्रेस करना चाहता हूँ. yesterday one of like the better journalists in Italian football, Orazio Accomando करके उसका नाम है, he works for Sport Media, said, and of late he's become very reliable. He said if one of Inter's very likely first purchase in the summer is going to be on a free transfer, Lorenzo Pellegrini. I hope not. I hope you just do not keep him anywhere close to Milan. I don't want him. I'm sorry, Ajay. I know you love him, but I am personally, as a player, I'm not a fan of this version of Pellegrini. Maybe a few years ago, yes, but please keep him away from Milan. Please send him elsewhere. I do not want the guy at my club at all.
Just imagine Param if Inter signed McKennie and Pellegrini. क्या
No,
करेगा
no. बहुत
उसमें?
गुस्सा आएगा मेरे को. मैं ये I will start one of those weird agendas, like I want, because I, you know why I can see this happening, Lorenzo Pellegrini at Inter. So the story again, this is not a report. So a lot of Inter fans on Twitter say that Piero Ozilio, right, Inter sporting director, has a very mixed sort of like a weird relationship with Dejan Stankovic. Okay, Alexander's dad, and Alexander is playing fantastic football. He has to be Inter's first signing. You have a buyback on him. So Ozilio, apparently, because he does not have such great relations with Dejan, he is willing to kind of sell Alexander Stankovic. If he does that, I will book for the first flight to Milan. I will find Ozilio and I'll make sure he steps down from his job. If he sells Alexander Stankovic only just because he does not get along with Dejan Stankovic, imagine, Ajay, if this actually happens, that would be a proper joke. Like, he should be fired on the spot. So that this is the reason I can actually see Lorenzo Pellegrini happening to Inter, because our directors are that petty. If they don't have a good relationship with someone, usko nikal denge club se. And just imagine, Ajay bhai, and Alexander Stankovic in such amazing form, you just let him go when you have two buyback clauses on him. Just imagine if Inter do that. It'll be very typical of Inter. So
It'll be a
I
big
hope.
fumble. It'll be a big
Yeah,
fumble.
it's a big fumble. आज ही अभी just 10 minute पहले न्यूज आई कि डॉर्टमंड have given up on Alexander Stankovic, and again I hope he comes back to Inter. Calcio Genoa is here, the Indian Genoa fan. I know. Yeah, again he has a Twitter account. You can give the name and people can follow you. But
प्लीज
kudos
भाई,
to you.
मैंने मैंने पैसे लगाया है जेनोवा को जिताने के लिए 3-2.
uh, Roma wage bill is definitely high. Maldini is returning to AC Milan under Galliani. 125 million for Roma. Again, जैसे अजय भाई ने बोला, अगर आपके प्लीज कोई क्वेश्चन है कमेंट से लाते रहो, हम लोग लेते हैं. अजय भाई, एक दो चीज मेरे को आपसे पूछना है. जस्ट अ फ्यू पीस ऑफ न्यूज, बिकॉज जब स्टेडियम्स और इटली की बात आती है हम हमेशा बात करते रहते हैं. अभी ऑब्वियसली
Are
डिएगो
you
स्टाडियो.
are you going to ask me the name of the home stadium of Genoa?
I wanted to come to the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona because there are now
Oh,
things like renovation
टॉयलेट
plans.
टॉयलेट का टॉयलेट एक हाथ भगत का रेनोवेशन होने वाला है.
Apparently, a 200 million project financed by regional funds, capacity increased to 65K, remove athletics track हटेगा तो और closer, third tier to open, so थोड़ा बड़ा हो जाएगा. Solar powered, no reduction in capacity, no need for Napoli to relocate, achievable within UEFA's timelines, and also visibility standards and compliant with all standards. होगा कि नहीं ये और ने, and just a few words on it, your 2 cents on it.
आई थिंक होगा बिकॉज डे लॉरेंटेस एक ऐसा ओनर है परम, जो जो भी उसने बोला उसने करके दिखाया है उसने. तो मैं जितना भी मैं देखूं एंड सुनूं, नापोली फैंस है जो डे लॉरेंटेस को क्रिटिसाइज करते हैं, आई थिंक बहुत ही इमेच्योर है. बिकॉज जो डे लॉरेंटेस हैज ब्रॉट देम बैक फ्रॉम द डॉल्ड्रम्स, आई थिंक नापोली फैंस नीड टू बी इटर्नली ग्रेटफुल टू हिम. सो जिस तरीके से उसने काम किया है अब तक, उसने ऑपरेट किया हुआ है, तो मेरे को तो लगता है कि ये होगा. But मेरा तो मैं, if I think from a biased angle, I only feel that it is easier for Napoli to, renovate the Maradona, but for Roma to build our own stadium, despite having the approvals and the money, लास्ट जब से फ्रीडकिंस आए उन लोग प्लान कर रहे हैं, बट रोड ब्लॉक, रेड टेप पे रेड टेप, इतना ब्यूरोक्रेटिक सिटी है रोम। मतलब ऐसा बोलते हैं कि लोग खोदते हैं तो कोई आर्किटेक्चरल वंडर मिलता है उनको, तो वहां पे बंद करना पड़ता है। दूसरे जगह पे जहाँ पे रोमा ट्राई कर रही थी, वहां पे इकोलॉजिकल वाले आके उन लोग ने आके
या
रोक दिया।
वो तो कॉमन ही हो गया है भाई,
वो तो
इकोलॉजिकल
मतलब
ये
मैं तो वही चाहता हूँ परम कि मिलान, द सिटी ऑफ मिलान गेट्स अ गुड स्टेडियम। I would say
आपको
I
आपको
would say two stadiums for them. I would say one separate stadium for Inter and one separate stadium for Milan. वैसा होना चाहिए। And
we
similarly
tried
in
right,
Rome,
we tried right, but everybody tried stopping both the clubs. अभी अगर
exactly,
ये जो joint project हो रहा है, that's because all these politicians
right,
pushed us into that. And also एक और चीज अगर आप जानते हो, जब इंटर और मिलान ने डॉक्यूमेंट्स प्रिपेयर करना अभी नाउ इंटर एंड एसी मिलान ओन द स्टाडियो जिसेपे मेआज़ा, नाउ वी विल
yeah,
स्टार्ट आवर न्यू स्टेडियम। फाइनली ये हो रहा है, बट वो अगर आप जानते हो ये नवंबर में जो हुआ, इफ यू डोंट नो द न्यूज, लेट मी रिमाइंड पीपल, Inter and Milan were against in a race of time, were in a race against time to get the documents completed because documents हो रही थी अजय भाई, and अगर वो financial submission नहीं होता documents का time, because you know these things take time, right, to lock in the finance side of things and everything. Had Inter and Milan missed that deadline or had the deadline got extended, the second ring of the San Siro, right? Because San Siro कैसे build हुआ था आपको जानते हो, right? मियाजा first ring बनी थी थोड़े साल पहले starting में, फिर decades later the second ring, फिर decades later the third ring, right? So essentially like 3 stadiums almost. But had they missed that deadline, the second ring, right? The second ring would have gotten that, what's that status called? They call it that historic status, right?
the spiral. Oh
No,
yeah, okay, the historical
the
okay, क्या architectural wonders of
आर्किटेक्चरल स्टेटस बेसिकली इससे क्या होता है, वो 100 इट कंप्लीट्स हाउ मेनी 100 इयर्स, या 100 इयर्स,
yeah,
राइट? 100 इयर्स कंप्लीट होने पे आप उस स्ट्रक्चर को हिस्टोरिकल स्टेटस के नाम पे डिमोलिश नहीं कर सकते, आप यू लूज ऑल द राइट्स, यू लूज कंट्रोल ओवर इट। सो इट वाज लाइक अ रेस अगेंस्ट टाइम, देयर आर 6 days to go. Inter and Milan had not were still completing their financial documents, and in 6 days had they not completed it, Inter and Milan would have lost control over that second ring, and we would have not been able to buy the even if we bought the land, we would not have been able to demolish the Giuseppe Meazza. Just imagine Ajay bhai, ये चलता है इटली में, second ring, only the second ring, the second row, the second tier essentially. ये कहाँ और देखने को मिलेगा ये सब वियर्ड चीजें, आपको बताओ
बहुत
मुझे।
बहुत बहुत रेड टेप है यार। तो देख, मैं चाहता हूँ कि नापोली को नया स्टेडियम मिले। आई थिंक दैट सिटी, दैट क्लब deserves
हाँ
a good stadium, like, but so does the rest of Italy. So I hope that it's just not concentrated in Naples alone. I hope that there are some repercussions in Milan and Rome,
या
and अपने क्लब्स के भी स्टेडियम जो है थोड़े
एब्सोल्युटली
ठीक तरीके से
एब्सोल्युटली,
बने यार।
ऑल ऑफ अस नीडेड यार। अभी यार ये तुम्हारी क्लब्स यूरोस मिस आउट कर रही है, सब मिस आउट कर रही है, लाइक यू गाइस आर लाइक, तुम्हें तुम्हारी छोटे क्लब्स एटलीस्ट बना रहे हैं स्टेडियम्स, व्हिच इज गुड टू सी अजय भाई। व्हेनेवर like people ask why, how are the newer clubs or the smaller clubs able to do this, that's mainly because उधर regional politics कम होते हैं, they need these kind of stadiums, उनके उधर tourism के लिए important है। I'm glad Cagliari is getting a new stadium, I'm glad Como is getting whatever, I'm glad Bologna is getting a new stadium. I know these are very flat looking stadiums, not so exciting, but they need it, it's much needed, we can't do much about this. I have some very good comments coming. I'm glad to see Gaurav is here, nice to see. We'll close this in the next 5 minutes Ajay bhai, 5-10 minutes. Nice to have you Gaurav. Yes, again, look, we are all trying, right? Two relationships he can't handle भाई, वो तो ज्यादा। मिलान ने 30, yes, मिलान ने तो लैंड भी खरीदा था, इंटर भी लैंड खरीदने वाली थी, सो इंटर वाज अबाउट टू मूव टू एन एरिया कॉल्ड रोजानो अजय भाई, जस्ट आउटसाइड मिलान। एंड उधर का मेयर इज लाइक, तुम्हें जो करना है करो, तुम लैंड खरीदना चाहते, तुम्हें स्टेडियम बनाना है, तुम्हें स्टेडियम के बाजू में जो बनाना है बनाओ, ही वाज दैट ओपन। आई वाज लाइक बना दो ना, व्हाई डू यू वांट टू गो बैक टू सिटी सेंटर? बिकॉज I was like, if this mayor is willing to do anything for your club, just go ahead and do it. But again, Ajay, it matters, right? City center as opposed to outside of the city, right? It makes a big difference. City center
बिल्कुल।
is a hub. Uh, yeah, अब वहाँ पे अकेडमी बनेगी और एक स्मॉल, एग्जैक्टली। भाई कोई बिलियनियर सैम्पडोरिया को टेक ओवर क्यों नहीं करता? आई वांट देम, सी दिस इज अ गुड कमेंट। सी Radrizzani is the current owner of Sampdoria, जिसने फेरेरो से खरीदा। फेरेरो was you know what happened with him, and Redritzani is also not like a great owner. So
Yeah.
क्या ही बोल सकते हैं, फॉर्मर लीड्स ओनर. बट आई एग्री, आई मीन सेरिया में कोई इतना इन्वेस्ट करना भी चाहिए ना, पैसे आने चाहिए रिटर्न में. अजय भाई, जस्ट वन लास्ट थिंग. रोमा के लिए I just saw news a while ago. I can't find it anymore. I just saw this. Your thoughts? I just saw this news saying that Roma might impose a क्या बोलते हैं, a salary cap going forward, like a 4 million net max. उसके अलावा उससे ज्यादा नहीं देंगे. बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली आपका वेज बिल, जैसे के ने बोला थोड़ी देर पहले, आपका हाई है. डू अग्री विद दिस पॉलिसी? बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली 4 million पे कैप करना, आफ्टर अ पॉइंट यू मे स्ट्रगल टू अट्रैक्ट सम टॉप प्लेयर्स, और यू मे स्ट्रगल टू कीप देम आफ्टर अ पॉइंट. क्या लगता है आपको?
100%, but nothing is confirmed yet. These are
हाँ,
just
of course it's rumors, obviously.
rumors
It's
coming
still,
up. I don't think so वो होगा परम, because the Friedkins have much more larger plans. Although, like you mentioned, FFP के कारण एक sale करना पड़ेगा, which I would be okay with the way that things are going. Even El Ainoui is attracting a lot of eyeballs in this current market, and Roma would also generate some funds from a big sale. वो भी हो सकता है. So ये at the max what I feel right now is that FFP sale. ये जो ट्रांसफर बैन है या कैप है, आई थिंक दीज आर जस्ट रूमर्स. द ओनली क्रेडिबल रूमर इन टर्म्स ऑफ द बैक रूम दैट आई हैव हर्ड इज फ्रांचेस्को टॉटी कमिंग बैक इन दैट
yeah, I wanted to get to that. क्या क्या बोलते
supporting
हो?
character.
बस बहुत लोग बोल रहे हैं.
I think it makes sense here, because you have icons like Maldini, Zanetti, Del Piero, Totti, and you need these icons to be there. They just generate more eyeballs. Forget the commercial part of it. Yeah, just as club ambassadors, they're ambassadors to Italian football, and at this point of time, Serie A needs that. Like, जितना marketing हो सकता है उतना कर लो भाई, मतलब hire करके खत्म कर लो.
Fair, fair, fair. Also, one thing I want to address this just quickly. So yes, Como is too rich, but again, if once they start, if they do qualify for a UEFA competition, na KNK, मैंने एक मस्त आर्टिकल पढ़ा इस पे. जब I'll share it with you and I'll share it with our community. Again, आप लोग अगर आप Instagram पे जाओ, हमारे links check करो bio में, WhatsApp community join करो. We'll share all kinds of news, links to watch matches, whatnot, if you don't have DAZN. But coming back to my point, there's a whole well-written article on why once they do qualify for UEFA competitions, this financial model is not, I'm not saying sustainable, but it's a bit risky, because they will be in heavy losses right away in terms of their expenditure and all, which I'll explain properly later, because we're about to close our stream. इस पे शायद कोई और वीडियो करूं मैं, but it's a very different dynamic as to what people from the outside know. So I think, yeah, I guess I don't see any more comments. Ajay, anything you want to say as we close the stream?
Yeah, a couple of things that I want to say. Number one is that in a piece of good news, our Calcio Charcha family has just grown a little larger. Yogesh has welcomed a baby girl.
Yeah.
So Yogesh is now a proud dad to a baby girl. So, अगर आप लोग हमारे WhatsApp community में, तो please wish Yogesh if you haven't already. It's a piece of good news. New youngest Napoli fan has arrived in India at least. एक तो वो था. सेकेंडली, चिंतन और मैं कल दिल्ली में होने वाले हैं फॉर द फैन बॉल मीट. अगर आपको ज्यादा डिटेल्स चाहिए तो वो भी हम लोग ग्रुप में पोस्ट करेंगे. अगर आप दिल्ली में हो तो प्लीज आ जाओ, हम लोग वहाँ पे मीट एंड ग्रीट करने वाले हैं. एंड लास्टली, लाइक एट द टॉप ऑफ द स्ट्रीम, परम हैड मेंशन्ड, हम लोग जीरो बॉल नॉलेज पे भी होने वाले हैं मंडे को. तो बाबा के चैनल में ऑल्सो वी विल हैव सम इटालियन सेरिया और इटालियन फुटबॉल कंटेंट कमिंग अप देयर. सो कीप liking, sharing, subscribing and supporting. WhatsApp community is very active. वहाँ पे links भी मिलते हैं for all the games in case you haven't subscribed to DAZN. So just keep supporting us and content आता रहेगा.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would have said as well. Again, please do like, share, subscribe to both channels. It helps us a lot. Content will resume regularly. We were on sort of a break for 2 weeks only because we had less time on our hands. But again, content आता रहेगा. दिल्ली में हो तो फैन बॉल मीट जाओ कल. अजय भाई, चिंतन भाई होंगे. जीरो बॉल नॉलेज ड्रॉग बाबा के चैनल पे ट्यून इन करो. सब्सक्राइब टू ड्रॉग बाबा. आई एम श्योर यू ऑलरेडी हैव, बट I think that goes without saying. We'll soon be doing a collab with Menace and the Monk, Nidhi Bhai and Manas, so keep an eye out for that. Next weekend, RBD Italia, 14 Feb को perfect Valentine's Day को है. Funnily enough, 13th is my birthday, so hopefully it'll be a good birthday gift. So उधर शायद finally it would be the right time for Inter to win a big game, but I don't trust my club to do that. This is something we'll address later, Siddhant, but don't fall for it. Don't fall for it, because Fabregas will probably end up playing 7 Spanish players over them. So let's see. But I think that's pretty much it. Genoa Napoli at 10:30, right? Ajay, at 10:30 is what is the only game today, and then obviously 1:15 we have Fiorentina Torino to watch. So tune into the action. If again DAZN पे आप Serie A देख सकते हो, paid है. If it's not free, if you don't have DAZN, join our WhatsApp community. We share all the links there and start watching Serie A. What else can I say? देखते रहो गेम्स, मजे करो, वॉच अलॉन्ग सब आता रहेगा, एंड प्लीज डू लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब, इट हेल्प्स अस अ लॉट. Let's grow the family, and again congratulate Yogesh on the same because he's had a,
Yes.
yeah, we'll see you guys very soon.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.